It's Swami time. It's Swami time. It's Swami time. What's up, Family Feud 2022? Here we go. We're on the eve of embarking on another fantastic voyage together as we go into this fantasy football season. Super excited about the league that we've assembled. Little bit of state of the union here. Let's talk about, the elephant in the room. Salaries have become almost unmanageable. I take full blame for that. The teams, you look across the board, the teams are looking very thin. It's not like most of your other fantasy leagues. It never has been. We've never wanted it to be. But we've gone too far. The salaries have spiraled out of control. I take full responsibility for not doing it ahead of time. We've inched up. It's kind of been like our money. The inflation has been hurting us little by little, and we haven't. Used to, I was able to do it by feel. I was always able to kind of keep it in between the lines, but it kind of got away from us a little bit, and now we're starting to see it. We have no benches. Now, having said that, I will say this almost always solves itself as the season goes along. I expect it to again, to a point this year. I am going to go ahead and just throw that out there without making a vote at all. I will be adding transactions on this year. So we have more than 25 transactions. We're going to have a little bit more turnover and a little bit more ability to manage our rosters a little bit better. Probably, we may talk about the number, but maybe 30, 32, 35 even. I mean, we may go to 35. Just so we have the ability to go out there and work the waiver wire. There should be plenty of options out there. But we'll get back to it a little bit. The good part of it is that we're all playing the same course. We all have to deal with salary issues, and I expect the champion of this year is going to be the one that's able to navigate these salary issues, able to put together depth, able to navigate bye week issues, and I look forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Like I said, we're all playing the same course. But having dealt with that, welcome everybody. Here's Swami. Let's get into it. Let's get into the picks, and hopefully I can give you your fortune. Okay, first game, Nerd Puppets at Orange Crush. Of course, I'm starting with this one. Two old foes. These two, I love hearing the chatter between these two. I think that Crush views him as her main rival. They've had some absolutely epic games. Maybe Nerds views her as a little bit of an Achilles heel. She's kind of pesky, and she might lose 4 or 5 in a row and then jump up and just smoke puppets. And I'll have to look at some history on this, but always interesting. I'm going to start off with these two. Let's talk about the Nerds first. I low-key love this squad. Actually, it might be one of my favorite squads. Starting lineup-wise. Brady, I mean, it's money in the bank. 45 years old, who knows? I'm never going to doubt that guy. Austin Eckler, I think that's money. That may be the best offense in the league. And he's a cog. The only thing I'm worried about with Eckler is he actually asked the staff to reduce his carries by about 75. It may bend him back a little bit, but I think he's going to be there when the chips are down. Breece Hall, who knows? I mean, frickin' who knows? It's the Jets. I'm not in yet. Yeah, the guy's super talented. I loved him in college. He was beautiful to watch. But I'm not buying in, especially without their quarterback. They got Flacco under center. I'm not in yet on him. Now, this might be the best wide receiving core in the league. Michael Pittman Jr., everybody's expecting that guy. He looks like the guy. He's got his quarterback. He's got a running back that can take all the pressure off the passing game. Watch out for Michael Pittman Jr. this year. And then Jamar Chase. He gets him again. I stole it from him last year, but it gets him back. And, I mean, could be the best physical talent at receiver in the league. That's a great duo. George Kittle, going to be good in that system. I saw some reports that he might be injured and have to watch week 1 with Kittle, so we're going to have to pay attention to that. But love this squad. I think this squad's going to be good. He's going to obviously play the wire. He's going to do trades. I have no problems with this squad at all. Crush had all the first-round picks. She had everything. And you know what? She assembled a really good starting lineup. Herbert, shit, man. Could be number one. Dalvin Cook should be great. That's going to be a really good offense, too. Watch out for Minnesota. Leonard Fournette, all the reports of him coming in fat, going to be fine. He's going to be fine in that Tampa Bay offense. Dameon Pierce, that was one of the better pickups in the preseason, was going out and get Dameon Pierce. Well, I say that. All the buzz is Dameon Pierce. It is Houston. But he's kind of the undisputed guy, and she gets a RB1 for $700,000, and there's not a lot of those in the league right now, and that really opens up some things for her to do. Tyreek Hill, Elijah Moore, could have done better. Kelsey, of course, he's perfect. Crush, she had a great opportunity to build an absolute squad. I think she might have squandered it a little bit. I do like her squad. It doesn't look like somebody that had 3 first-round picks. She obviously just didn't do enough research. So, week 1, I'm giving this to the Nerd Puppets. I think he freaking outmaneuvered her. I think he outdrafted her. And he's going to take on the Dragon, and he's going to slay her in week 1. Nerds by 5.
Yes!
Game number 2, Rebel Scum at Triple T's. Let's start with Scum. I'm not going to belabor the point of the draft. She indulged and had some fun, and maybe wasn't the best draft ever. But she had plenty of time to, get her squad back together. Did some good work in the preseason. Derek Carr, he's kind of the unknown. I mean, we know he's good. We know the guy is talented. In a good system. Picks up a huge piece with Devontae Adams. Has weapons. He's got Waller. He's got Adams. He's got Jacobs in the backfield. So should be pretty good. Should be solid. I don't know how spectacular he's going to be, but, should be a solid piece for her. Rashad Penny's a question. He finished the season, fantastic in Seattle, but 0 quarterback play. And we've all seen how that works out when you have no quarterback play and you've got a running back that's good, and on a bad team, sometimes it just doesn't work out. If Seattle somehow puts it together, maybe Penny is the steal of the draft. Devin Singletary, she actually starts him as her RB2. Not many teams do in fantasy. Most of the time he's a flex or beyond, but that's a super potent offense. And, if he can hold off James Cook, if he can get carries and they actually run the ball a little bit, that's a good pick. Tony Pollard, I don't know. It's a flex. It's a good flex. If Zeke goes down, it's a home run. Pollard will be a league winner, actually, if she's able to do that. Cortland Sutton and Justin Jefferson, that's actually a potent combo. A lot of reports are coming out that Sutton is Russell Wilson's guy. Jefferson, a lot of people, I've seen some people actually take him as number 1 overall in some drafts. And then Dawson Knox, that's her guy. Triple T's. Patrick Mahomes went into the draft actually targeting Mahomes. I thought that he came off of a bad year. I think he's too talented. I think Reed is too good of a play caller. He loses Tyreek Hill. All the chatter is about he's not going to be any good without Tyreek Hill. I went the opposite direction on that. I think he's going to explode. Saquon Barkley, same thing. The Triple T's, you'll see a theme here going super high upside across the board on the picks. I think Saquon, I'm invested in him in every single league that I'm in. It seems like every draft that I got in, I've got a piece of Saquon Barkley. I expect a huge year from him. And I think that I may fall into the same trap that Scum did on a really bad team with shit quarterback play, but he catches so many balls. If he's healthy, he's such a weapon. We've seen him when he's at his best. He's, let's not forget, just a couple of years ago, he was the consensus, number 1, number 2 pick. Before he got hurt. So let's see if that happens again. Javonte Williams, the eye test for me is why I got him. I think he's as talented as any back in the league. Now he gets Russell Wilson to take pressure off of him. Gordon is another year older at 29. If he's going to explode, here it is. Made a switch in the offseason to get Mike Williams. Had McLaurin there, who's probably a better receiver, but Williams' system and Herbert throwing to him is too good to pass up, and then Cooper Kupp. That was the keeper for Triple T's. The flex is where Triple T's is really going to struggle. He's going to have to make a decision between McCole Hardman, Jahan Dotson, who's the number 2 in Washington, Romeo Doubs. Who knows what's going to happen in Green Bay? He's going to have somebody hit there. As far as week 1 goes, too much Triple T's, too much pedigree in the players. Big favorite here. I think he comes through Triple T's, takes this one by 11. All right, game 3, Boats and Hoes at Raging Rabbis. Man, what a good opening round game this is. Frickin' absolutely love this. Boats, you're a gem. Absolutely on the message board. Your cockiness, your bravado, your confidence, the way that you drive your team, your knowledge about fantasy football. Frickin' love it, man. And, hey, frickin' this is a good team. Josh Allen, consensus number 1. I had him last year. He took me to the frickin' title. You pay up for him. You draft him. The dude is fucking awesome. You're going to love having his points. James Conner, we've talked about it on the group text. Maybe I'm not as big of a fan, but like I said in the text, I think he's super solid in a good offense. I think everybody's at least I am. I'm expecting Arizona to take the next step. Kingsbury's been in there a little bit. Kyler's been in there a little bit. Connor as a football player is everything that you want in a football player. Not the most explosive guy. 18 touchdowns last year. I'm expecting regression. I just don't see him duplicating what he did before, but damn good piece. And as a RB2, real good piece. Najee, that's his guy. That's who he's hung his hat on. He's hung it on him for 2 years. He's going back to the well again. I think this team goes as his flex goes. Elijah Mitchell, if he comes through as the guy in San Francisco and he doesn't get fucked over by Shanahan's bullshit that he does, because Shanahan has fucking bullshit, period, then he's going to be in trouble. If he gets the nod and he gets the ball and Trey Lance starts coming through as a quarterback, hey man, this running back crew right here, probably best in the league. Alan Lazard, man, frickin' nobody knows what's happening in Green Bay. Weird, undisclosed frickin' reasons away from practice a week before the season. Man, I'd run away. Maybe RB1, maybe nothing. He absolutely is rolling the dice there, but that's what he likes to do. T. Higgins, I think that was one of the better moves in the offseason, was going out and getting second piece to a potent Cincinnati offense, and I think Higgins is really, really good, and all the attention on Jamar Chase is going to make T. Higgins even better. I think he's a perfect wide receiver too. And then Dalton Schultz should do the same thing. Without Michael Gallup there in Dallas, I think Schultz is going to be a security blanket for Dak. I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I think that's a good pick. Bills defense, maybe number 1. He's got some pieces on the bench with Algier and Tyler Olave. You can't say that about many teams, but he's got a couple players there on the bench. Rabbis has one of the better starting lineups in the league, but it's got some questions, and it's the same questions he typically answers every year. Dak, I love Dak this year. He's getting drafted as like QB 10 or 11 in most leagues this year. I've got him way higher than that. Dallas has aspirations to be a Super Bowl team, and if they're going to get there, he's the guy. This is the year. This is the year that he's going to do it. He lost a big piece with Amari Cooper, but he's got a bunch of no-names that have to fill in. He's got CeeDee Lamb, who's a wide receiver 1 talent in the league. He's got the running game. Offensive line's a question. I think Dak's going to be good, though. I think he's good enough if he stays healthy. Joe Mixon, stud, RB1. I think that's a great pick. It's got an Oklahoma tie, which Terry loves. And then Alvin Kamara. He waffled. The guy has killed him. He's crushed him. I could talk forever about what Kamara is. It could be the RB1. He could absolutely be out of the league in 3 weeks. you have no idea. And Terry gambled. He went with him. If he hits, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara is the best combo in the league. Stephon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, both good. Russell Wilson with Jeudy should be fine. Stephon Diggs and maybe could be the best offense in the league. Massive. And then Jalen Tolbert is a flex. That's awful. You know, he might get a week or two out of him. He may get nothing. He may not even get a target. Or he could get 5 targets and a touchdown. Coin toss. Mark Andrews finished the year as the number 1. There are no wide receivers in Baltimore. Mark Andrews is a home run. He's going to have an advantage every single week with Andrews. So I like the Rabbi starting lineup. In the salary cap era that we're living in, we're playing in, this is as good a lineup as there is. And really the only thing he has on his bench is George Pickens. Good hit and fill in for the and actually I would start Pickens over Tolbert, but that's just me. But I like this. It's going to be a really close game. I like the game. And honestly, I think Rabbis gets him. I think Rabbis sneaks in here in week 1 and he knocks off Boats. There's going to be some trash talking in this one, but I think he slips in and he gets him in a really close one. Rabbis by 2. Okay, game 4. Young Guns at Hold My Beer. JC, welcome to the league. Absolute, we've belabored the point, but absolute great addition. You're in, bro. You're in. Everybody fully accepted you. Affirmative action said that we had to have you, so glad to have you. Cuban qualified. Who knew that Cuban qualified for brown skin? Young Guns at Hold My Beer. So these two, this actually was my initial game of the week because of what I think about the squads, but wasn't going to give JC, kind of like the tournament, wasn't going to give him game of the week in week 1. Your time's coming, sir. Let's start with Young Guns. Hey, man, Joe Burrow. Joey B is a stud, and they're going to sling. They have Cincinnati will not protect him. If he's going to throw it 50 times, they're going to let him throw it 50 times. I don't know if he just said, hey, let me throw it 50 times, or they're just saying, let's go for it. But, man, with the weapons that he has, with Higgins and Chase out there and Mixon in the backfield, and that's a good pick. That guy, if they let him throw the ball like that, he's top 3, top 4, and not being drafted as such. And that guy's got moxie, man. Every interview, everything that he does, he bleeds confidence. So that's a guy you want leading your team, and I'm behind him. Derrick Henry. King Henry comes back from an injury, and Young Guns kept him. And if you play in a lot of other leagues, you see how Derrick Henry has dropped and is falling down boards. No way, man. That dude, that's a great keeper, and actually is my prediction. I think he leads the league in rushing again. It's Derrick Henry. That's where my money is. Cam Akers, same thing. Here's the thing about Young Guns. He's got 2 absolute stud running backs that are both coming off of huge injuries. So no question that Guns likes to gamble. Maybe it's the youth. Maybe that comes out of him later in life after he's been burned a couple times, but he hadn't been burned yet. And he's too young, so we'll see how it works out. If he hits on both of them, shit, look out. We might see him on the World Poker Tour soon. If both of them go down with injuries, then maybe he'll pump the brakes a little bit. I love his receivers. A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel. I love Deebo. And A.J. Brown, he's got 2 freak athletes at wide receiver and in the running for best 2 in the league. Now, how A.J. Brown turns out in Philadelphia with Hurts throwing to him, who knows? But I think he's good enough, and I think that Hurts is good enough that A.J. is going to be a big part. Actually, they're very similar players. They're both physical. They can both run after the catch. They both put them in different positions to make plays. And I love this wide receiving core. I think they get it done. They find ways to get both of these guys the ball every week. I'm going to say it. This is probably my favorite wide receiving core in the league. Rondale Moore, electric, super fast. Man, he looks like Tyreek Hill. They're going to move him all around the formation. With D-Hop gone in Arizona, I think Rondale Moore is going to be a bigger part. I don't think he's getting talked about enough in drafts. I don't think he's getting talked about enough on the prognosticators' webcasts and all the blurbs that you see. I think Rondale Moore is going to be one of those sneaky dudes that they come in, they run a reverse to him, he scores a 60-yard touchdown, or they throw a bubble screen to him. Kamish likes Rondale Moore. Irv Smith Jr., coming off thumb surgery, in a great offense. Justin Jefferson's going to demand a lot of attention. So is KJ Osborne. I think Irv Smith, he's going to be one of those touchdown-dependent guys. He's just going to be target-dependent. He's going to be one of those guys that has to catch a touchdown. He's probably going to catch a few, but Guns is going to have to watch his tight end play. JC has Christian McCaffrey. Speaking of injuries, there is no better running back in the league in fantasy than Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac. If he is healthy, if he's playing, he's the prototype guy that you want in fantasy football. He catches it, they give it to him, he's shifty, he's fast, he's smart. Everything that you want in a running back, C-Mac is. He keeps him, takes a chance. I love it. It's the same thing I did with Saquon Barkley. It's exactly what I would have done in his spot. Once again, he's got the opportunity to have a guy that is number one at his position, and you can't predict injury, so you have to keep the guy, and he gives you a huge advantage if he's healthy. Kyler Murray at quarterback, same thing. Could be one. If they turn him loose, they let him run. They don't try to protect him. They did a little better last year. If they let Kyler be Kyler, that's your number one quarterback in the league. Hands down. Promise. No one's faster. No one's more elusive. And if he gets Hopkins back and he starts using his weapons, that's your number one quarterback. David Montgomery as his number one. Man, that's a number two running back in any league. But he's going to get the volume. They're not going to be good. And they've got, Justin Fields, young guy. Might open up some lanes for him because he's got a running quarterback, but that's a two running back, but he's got him in his one. And then Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs is able to get, Jacobs looks good to me. I've never understood why Jacobs has been held back so much. He's physical, he's fast, he's shifty, but he doesn't get any love at all, and he's always getting pushed by guys like Zamir White and all these people that they bring in behind him. If they just let the guy work, there must be something else going on there because I don't understand it. But he's got some question marks at running back. But he doesn't at wide receiver. Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle are going to be money for him. Waddle is the one that he's going to have to watch because as good as he was last year, he's got Tyreek Hill that he has to contend with now. Tua is going to be pressed. They're going to be looking for him. I think the pressure is going to be to get the ball down the field a little bit. And Waddle is more of one of those guys that works in space. He's a great route runner. He's got to get volume. He's not going to be an over-the-top kind of guy. So we'll see. I like the wide receiver core. Got some question marks. And then Kyle Rudolph at Tampa Bay. Who knows? He was a touchdown-dependent guy at Minnesota. He's going to a great spot. Gronkowski's gone in Tampa Bay. He's huge. Brady should love him in the red zone. But he's going to have some competition. Brady spreads the ball so much, and there's so many people that he gets the ball to in Tampa Bay that I think it's just going to be hit or miss. And you might get a good week, bad week, good week, 2 bad weeks, good week. So, having said all that, I think Young Guns takes this down. I think he initiates the rookie in week 1. I think that his running backs come through in a huge way, and Young Guns baptizes him by 10.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Game of the week. Game of the week, week 1. Hey, you guys get it? Sam Houston's Hellraisers at Heiser Bombs. Kudos to you guys for getting game of the week, week 1. What that says to you from me is great job drafting. You guys put together squads that look like the 2 best squads to me head-to-head in the first week. And I'll start with Heiser Bombs. I posted something today that said Heiserbaum's was low on the power rankings, and I know Heiserbaum's was very high on his squad. I'm not as high on his squad as he is, but I like it, and it's good, and it has a ton of potential. I just don't think it's the second best squad in the league. Now, having said that, I think Lamar Jackson is maybe one of the top 3 quarterbacks this week. I think he's got a layup opening week against the Jets. I think that all of the stars are aligning for him to have an absolute monster week 1. And even though he doesn't have a ton to throw to, I think they cater to him. He's got Andrews, he's got Bateman. He's gonna run his ass off. So I think Lamar has a huge week, and I think he's gonna really set the tone this year for Heiser. Ezekiel Elliott, all the buzz is that Zeke is done, but that team is too good. The offense is too good, and he's still the guy. Jerry Jones loves him. They're going to feed him, and here's what's really going to carry Zeke through the year, and it's going to be the goal line carries. It's going to be the touchdowns that he gets. He's going to pound the ball between the 20s. He's going to get, of course, Pollard is going to take away from him, whether he's running as a RB2 or in the slot. He's going to take away from Zeke's thunder, but you know what? That he's still going to be a force in fantasy. And Nick Chubb, you know what? They're very similar. Zeke and Chubb are both going to maybe not catch a ton of balls. They both got guys pressing them behind with Kareem Hunt and Tony Pollard, but those are your 2 bell cow backs that are going to pound the ball. And if those teams are ahead, they're going to have big games. They're going to have 20, 25, 30 carries in a game. They're going to wind clocks out. They're going to get all the goal line carries. Those are good. That's a good thing to have as your 1-2 punch there. Keenan Allen's going to be great in a great offense. Mike Williams is going to steal some of his thunder. Eckler's obviously going to get his stuff, but Keenan Allen is he's a pro's pro, and he's exactly what you want as a wide receiver 1. Possession receiver, gonna score, gonna get 10, 11, 12 targets a game, gonna get 6, 7, 8, 9 catches a game. So that's a guy that can get 100 yards every week and a touchdown, and I don't know what else you can ask for in a wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2 for him, however, is Michael Thomas, and that's the big question. Just like I said with Rabbi earlier, we have huge questions in New Orleans. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Jameis Winston, all the upheaval post Drew Brees, everything is an upheaval. We just don't know what's going to happen down there. You're rolling this guy out as your wide receiver 2. We've seen what he did with Brees because Brees peppered him with frickin' targets over and over and over and over. And he's a big guy, and he goes across the middle, and he makes contested catches. But what's he got left? What is he post-injury? What's his frickin' attitude? Too many questions for me. You know what? Heiser went with it, and he's going for upside there. So we'll see what happens. Deontay Johnson, almost very similar situation. He had Roethlisberger feeding him. Now all of a sudden he has Trubisky. What's going to happen there? Of course he's fast. Of course he runs good routes. Of course he's a shifty guy. Man, I just don't know there. Waller's a great story in the NFL. He's got a great quarterback. I think Waller benefits most out of everybody from getting Devontae Adams in the offense there, because it's going to take – he was the only guy that they had, and they focused everything on him. Now everything's going to shift over to Devontae Adams, so all of a sudden Waller's going to have room to work again for the first time. It's going to be like he can take a breath. Expect a big year out of Waller if his head is right, which I think it is. But in this game, in the game of the week, opening week, let's go back. I'm jumping ahead. Sam Houston's Hellraisers. I saved the big finale for Sam Houston because I think that he had, in this era of salary cap constriction, I think that he had probably the best draft. And man, the kid freaking impresses me over and over and over and over again. Let's just start from the top. Jalen Hurts. I've got Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback because of his running upside. They added weapons at Philly. He's got another year in the system. I think that Hurts is going to be top 3 to 5. I've got a lot invested in other leagues, and I think that he's a big time. I'm an Oklahoma homer, but I love the kid, and I love what he did taking Hurts there. DeAndre Swift passes the eye test. He's kind of like Javonte Williams. When you see him run, he looks different than the other people on the field. Detroit's going to suck, yeah, but he's good enough that I think he can overcome it, and I think that Detroit might be a little bit better than perception. I think that Campbell's got something going there. I think that people are buying into it. They've added some pieces there. I like Swift. I think that that's a really good pick. Of course, Jonathan Taylor is his keeper, is consensus number 1 everywhere. Coming off a historic season last year, there's no reason to think that he doesn't do it again or more. And most people haven't talked about this. I've heard a lot of people talking about regression with Jonathan Taylor. There's an opportunity here for Jonathan Taylor to do more than he did last year. And I think people should talk about that more because we've got some – they run the ball so well and they think about him so much, and he's so good that there's a chance for him to do some things historically here. So that's a huge advantage. He's like a running back 1.5. He gives you a half player advantage at that position. Now, the question is Travis Etienne. All the reports on James Robinson, are good. I think that the quarterback takes a step up this year. They got rid of dipshit Urban Meyer. So, some things are going to happen there. And all the buzz about Etienne last year and then he gets hurt. Now we get to see what happens. But James Robinson's coming back from an injury, a catastrophic one actually with his Achilles, but all the reports are good. And he's going to be the guy between the tackles. How much work is Etienne going to get? And that's going to be the question about how far Sam can go here. When we talk about best wide receiver tandems in the league, you have to mention Hellraisers. Mike Evans he's getting to the point where it's boring because Brady loves him. He's huge. He's unguardable. He's a red zone machine. He catches big balls. He goes across the middle. Everything about that guy, man. That's a great fucking pick. It's so solid, and it's money, and you can just set it and forget it. And I love that pick for him. And then CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is my breakout wide receiver of the year. He's the most talented receiver. He's got no competition. Dak is a good quarterback. Everything points towards him going up. That might be our Cooper Kupp of this year. Call it homer if you want. Eye test tells me CeeDee Lamb, if they let him and if they feed him, could be the Cooper Kupp of 2022. TJ Hawkinson, hey man, that's his boy. He loves him. He's always been on him. I don't love it. I think there's better options out there, and I think he can do better. Don't love it at all. Matter of fact, I hate having 2 Detroit players. I just now saw that for the first time. Packers defense is going to be studly. I think that's going to win him a couple of weeks. So, looking at this week, I'm going to go with Sam Houston's Hellraisers. I think he had the best draft. I'm going to give him the nod. I think he gets it in a close one, and I think he's just a better team. So, game of the week, Sam Houston's Hellraisers by 4. So there it is, guys. There's your week 1 Swami, and super looking forward to the league. I'm in a lot of leagues this year. I'm super engaged. I got a lot of things going on. I've got 2 jobs going, but I promise you, I'm going to be super engaged. I'm going to be engaged. You be engaged. Set your lineups. Make sure you're engaged. Don't make me stay on you. I promise. We've got so many years here, guys, that I want you to stay involved, and I want you to talk on the message board. I want to trash talk, and I want to be involved in the games, and that's what we do. That's why it's the Family Feud. That's why I love you guys, and I just want to share all this stuff with you, and I hope everybody can get through this. I know it's long, but it's a labor of love, and I want to give it to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I enjoy doing it for you. So with all that said, Swami's out!